I'm really happy that with 86 coming back that we have something as super wholesome as Akebi to be in the same day, because yeah, I was like so pumped and at the same time crying and everything about that series, and now I could just turn on this show and just relax. And this episode definitely had the feels of just that, again, that wholesome, some little bit of struggle in there with a certain character, but still with usual Akebi fashion, not being melodramatic about it, not trying too hard to just tear you up, but just be simple and something you can really feel for. But this is my thoughts on episode 10 of Akebi's Sailor Uniform, so let's jump into it. Yes, opening up the episode, we obviously have everybody coming in with their summer outfits, and yes, Akebi coming in with her new Sailor Uniform summer version, which was really cute. Everybody looked really nice. I really did like that little brief introduction, even though sadly it quickly turns into, I'm not going to be able to wear him for very long because we're doing all this preparation for this entire athletic festival they're doing, which it quickly jumps to. I like at some point they point out that the only reason Akebi's doing this whole cheerleading thing is because she wants an excuse to go through all the different practices and see everybody practicing. So again, Akebi just looking for an excuse to talk to everybody. It's really her thing. She's just so, it kind of embodies her. She's just so out there and just wants to just talk to people. But that was cute. Just her side of everything, just kind of jumping around, seeing everybody. Obviously jumping into Takaguchi again and how much she seems to be bothered by the presence of Akebi, but still kind of in that tsundere area where she's like, you know, you're doing everything wrong. Let me show you how this whole cheerleading thing works, and show the cheerleading. Don't get so excited about it. Stop. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, and then having this little moment where she goes and cheers for Hotaru and Oshizu, and having Hotaru gets into it, into his little pose. That was super cute. Like, even though the other one stormed away, she's like, I'll just do one more thing for Akebi, which she really appreciates. And this, of course, leads into the focal point of this episode, which is Shijo. Shijo is somebody that ends up doing some tennis practice with Erika, and it seems like very quickly we get a note that she does obviously have some sort of self-consciousness about her body. And we find out later this is because she took like a 2-year break from doing tennis, and the assumption there is that she got a little chubby and got a little laxing on her ability, which it seems like a lot of her focus is on the idea that she has lost her skill. But as Erika kind of puts it, I don't think you lost your skill, you just grew. 2 years is a big span for this age group. You're going to grow. She got taller, and yes, technically her mother points out that she's filled out in other places, but it was interesting to see that she was so focused on her body that I kind of noted early on, and I was curious if it was going to point it out, she's self-conscious, so she's not moving as much as she should. She's worried about, you know, expanding or flexing herself and possibly showing like her belly and stuff like that. So there was a lot of self-consciousness there that, again, it technically shows without saying anything later on when she does do that really nice serve. She doesn't care what people see. She just goes at it. And she realizes, you know, this is what I forgot. I forgot why I got into tennis, and that was because I thought it was cool. And yet, sure enough, Akebi's over there going, it looks so cool. But that was a really cool scene because again, it's not super heavy, but it's hitting on this idea that she has this insecurity about herself, and she's really conscious of herself, and she's envious of other people, including Akebi, which she doesn't break out of until she hangs out with Akebi for a while, because Akebi drags her into doing cheerleading stuff. That even though she's really fixated on how Akebi has this nice figure, she's really skinny and all this kind of stuff, and pokes her in the belly. If I had a drink going on, I would spit it out. But that little moment where she's looking at Akebi as Akebi's coming towards her, and she's just the fingers out there and slowly boop, and it just freaks out Akebi. Like a brief moment of Akebi being like actually thrown off by something, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, having this little scene where they're kind of doing this exercise together, this routine together, she realizing, as much as I'm jealous of Akebi, she's pushing her hardest. I like that just before that, it notes the fact that Akebi has all these different insecurities about other people. This one is so much more graceful than me. She's so much taller than me. Her legs are beautiful. Even Akebi, who she's super jealous of, has all these issues where she's trying to push herself to get better because other people are better than her in some certain way. So it's one of those acknowledgments that the grass is always greener on the other side. You always think that somebody has everything, but then they're looking at somebody else and saying they have everything. And I loved how they kind of portray that. Again, it doesn't go into super detail, but it's just enough to really give you an idea that this girl has insecurities. And yeah, technically those that she's jealous of have insecurities. And then realizing you're not going to change anything until you yourself go out there and just don't care. Like, you can care, but just go out there and do things. And that's what she was really kind of pushed to, eventually realizing after pushing herself to practicing Akebi, not caring that she thinks that she looks ugly. It broke my heart. It broke my heart when she said that she looked, she said she looked terrible or something like that. That moment when you realize somebody is so self-conscious that even seeing themselves in this little video, they're so down on themselves. They degrade themselves, and that's just like a terrible place to be. I mean, technically, look at me. I'm not the skinniest, handsomest person in the world, and I've always had that difficulty in my life, not having that security around myself, always feeling like I'm less than other people, but never realizing that other people have their own insecurities as well, and you're not going to change anything until you stop examining that and step forward. And that's exactly what she does. She finally steps forward, and she looks so beautiful doing it, and she looks like a new life springs inside of her, and it was just a really great cap into the series, this episode. And this is something that I've had in the previous episode. I think it was with Takeguchi specifically, is like this entire episode feels like it's just wholesome, let's have fun. And then for some reason at the very end, it's like, oh crap, now I'm hurting for this girl. But it's not to a point where I'm depressed, just enough that I see that she's seen something, she overcame something, and then she grew. And again, like I said, super wholesome, and just nicely cap ins my Saturdays, as it's extremely swamped right now. But yes, that wasn't it for the episode. At the very end, we got a tease, and I'm really curious what this is going to be. Technically, Akebi's in her club room. Yes, we forgot that she's technically a part of this drama club. She's with her president there, and she's talking about all these things that she did, and then the president says, oh, well, you know what, they'll make you even more happier? This. And she holds up something, and Akebi freaks out. So I'm assuming that's a script. Like, we've not really seen them do much. We keep just seeing her tapping away on her keyboard, and Akebi talking about things she wants to do outside of the club. But we're not seeing her actually do club stuff. So I'm assuming this is going to be the point in which we finally get a clue that we're going to do something drama-related with this new club. But that'll be cool. So I would like to see more of this president. She seems pretty funny. But we really haven't seen double fangs for her. We haven't really seen much around that whole subject there. So I thought it was also interesting to note that despite my thoughts last episode that we had sort of a time jump because Akebi and all them did some crazy, almost cheerleader-like routine in order to get Kojo her bookmark back, it seemed like in this episode she knew nothing about cheerleading. So I'm still curious that the last episode was sometime later. Like, this whole cheerleading ordeal here is where she's going to learn how to do those routines, but it doesn't seem like they're getting too complicated with the whole ordeal. It just seems like they're learning a couple of little poses, and then that was it. So, not sure why over here we had a whole cheerleading routine, and over here she's like, I don't know anything about cheerleading. I've never seen it before. So, I don't know. It's my random thought. But yeah, that's my thoughts on episode 10 of Akebi Sailor Uniform. Still loving it to death. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below. Comment. Let me know about the episode. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon. I'll throw a tips link in the description below. Definitely appreciate everybody does. And y'all take care.